viewers, me na Justice Tijan from KID-AFAN Discoveries, and this is your program Salone Discovery. Every year, the Ministry of Finance can hold discussion with MDAs and for discuss about money where they can use for the next coming year. Well, this year, the Ministry of Finance, in collaboration with Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, they hold an FY2023 financial discussion inside these MDAs, and they can present the budgets and where they can design for use in the next coming year. Today we want to know whose ministry they can present them budgets. Una do it as we discover this together.
In terms of the provision of grants, we put out calls for proposals, and then there's a committee that evaluates the responses. We go through the abstracts at the end, and then we work with the writers to write. And we also have a review board that reviews internally, and also we have IMF reviewers that review the quality of the publication. And for the question about the prioritization of deliverables, so as you know, I did say these are highlights of our key achievements. Ministry of Finance has more than 234 deliverables because based on our objectives, we break them down into activities and milestones, and we have a digital dashboard that we use to track that. And just as other MDAs were asked last year to consolidate our deliverables and not roll out new activities, so that consolidation was done. So it's the same old activities that are part of our routine work that we continue delivering on. So I just highlighted those that are really key. So those that are ongoing and those that we delivered on. And in terms of sharing the presentation formats, yes, we'll do that and we'll share with colleagues. And I think there are representation from macro-fiscal and revenue that can speak to the revenue projections, but I can just say as part of the revision, some of the revenue forecasts are based on the output of different interventions. So we start off with the national economic prospect survey that fits into the macro-fiscal framework that helps us to know how different sectors of the economy will perform, and based on that we'll see how we can estimate the revenues that will be generated. But of course these are estimates and are subject to externalities. We know what unforeseen circumstances do to our revenues. In terms of how the excess is funded from the budget, some of the requests that do come through the Ministry of Finance and some of the interventions we need to implement sometimes are priorities, and especially those that need to do with payments for international subscriptions. So there are those that we actually budget for, and in the hope that we will not be asked or at the last minute put under extra pressure to pay what's outstanding, for some of these payments for subscriptions are in arrears, but then based on some of the visits that His Excellency we need to do, and we can't expect the President to show up at meetings where we hold the organization, so we need to pay some of those subscriptions before he leaves, so that's why they sometimes above our budgets. I think I'll stop there for now. The Director of CSMS will speak to ICT.
Systems and technologies within the Ministry of Finance. Most probably the reason why it's not in the all the activities are not in the presentation is because the activities come under that directorate. But then I can delve into it as part of the explanation, and we can give you a more detailed description of the activities if you so require. To start with, the expenditure for IT is very high in terms of cost. So the Ministry of Finance spreads its cost on IT over a midterm period. In other words, one activity is spread over a couple of years. So in between last year and now, I'll just come up with about 6 activities that have taken place. And some of them were at an advanced stage, others are in progress. The first one, as I mentioned, and it's been in the presentation, was the development of a directorate. That's been established, and it's been approved by the grading committee, and the recruitments have been done. The second one was the development of a purpose-built building, a data center of Tier 3 standards. Now, the infrastructure has been acquired and it's been consolidated within there. Now, as an addendum to that, After the building was done, the infrastructure acquired, a digital platform was developed to support mission-critical systems across the Ministry of Finance, support of public financial management, such as IFMIS, CSDRMS, the debt system, and also systems that build bespoke databases that support the payroll and the Accounting General's Department. That's all in summary. Then we move on to another activity which was the upgrade of the IFMIS system from version 6.5e to GRP7. That's been done, it's been upgraded, and then we're going through the trial period, and we're just sorting out the little teething issues that are coming. And then we restructured the website as well. That's in progress because we still do have to liaise with the Ministry of Information and Communication for issues around the domain name and that sort of thing. And then there's the electronic funds transfer system that we're working with the Accounting General's Department, and that's at an advanced stage as well. We're also working on disaster recovery platform. All of these activities were pinned down in delivery objectives of the PFM strategy for 2018 to 2022. So it's been a continuation. What has happened is that they were highlighted in the PFM strategy, and we broke the deliverables in that strategy into different activities that we've put over a midterm period, which is 3 years, and we're delivering on them bit by bit. So I hope this helps. There are more activities, but if you want a more detailed list of the activities, we're more than willing to provide that.
High-level request that comes to the last minute that requires us to reallocate resources to ensure that we fund those activities, especially from the presidency.
So it's like it is not part of the budget, your budget?
We have contingencies that we need to do.
Okay. Okay, welcome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
We have this activity. The Ministry of Finance enters into a framework contract. These are not one-off activities where you come to supply, we later have to supply with pay. No. As a prudent financial management ministry, we decided to enter into a framework contract where we supply after verification for a particular period, then you submit your payments, we make payment. But as we are speaking, we've done their supply for the first half of 2022. Up till now, we've not received requests from the suppliers for them to make payment or for us to make payment. That's why you see nil, not that we don't want to honor. But as a Minister of Finance, we will not just pay because we are you are handling the money, you want to pay as if you don't know what you are doing. We enter into framework contract. These are framework contracts, not one-off activity. So it continues until 31st December 2022. Is that okay?
In the discussion, the Ministry of Finance has made tremendous growth, achievements over the period. I want to first of all start to commend the Local Council Finance Department on behalf of the Ministry of Finance for job well done with the local councils. I will stand emphatically and say, from the case study of Gambia District, the aspect of transparency and accountability is being evident to a very large extent. Within the local council, the specific focus on Gambia District Council, where we have had a very good experience with the current CA, taking Gambia District Council from Class C to Class A, which is a very laudable one for us as Gambian citizens and even the country, not excluding the Ministry of Finance. And our partnership, I want to remind all of us at the Ministry of Finance, from the NSA point of view, we are not here by design, rather by an MOU signed between the World Bank and the Ministry of Finance for our involvement, active involvement and participation in this process. And over the years, we've learned credence into the exercises. But a lot of things are missing, especially with the current leadership of the Budget Bureau. We are seeing a large aspect of exclusion, wherein some of the values that we have used to play in this budget are diminishing tremendously. The aspect of participation is very selective to some points and not even open. The space is being narrowed down, and it triggers our interest and concern that where are we? Are we only here to accumulate numbers, or we have our own constituency that we are representing as organizations, which has brought us together in the partnership? We wanted the leadership of the Budget Bureau. I will not take the media for now, as I used to promote the work of the budget process in this finance ministry. But some amount of engagement needed to be done. One will be used as NSAs to do what we call a citizens' budget, assisting the Ministry of Finance to inform citizens on what is obtained here within the confines of 3 groups. Now it is normal. And we saw in the presentation, very good, when the FS was here last year, he pledged some of 300 million euros for both the DBOCs and the NSs, whilst I was the chair. And now we are seeing the aspect of the NSA is quite lacking from the Ministry of Finance heart. Why? Maybe second to the last point I want to raise up. The budget is very good. To me, the Ministry of Finance is doing a marvelous job, and we will continue to give our support to it, because this is about us and it's about our country. So therefore, it's a message from the NSA, being the leader for the NSA team with my colleagues on the district level, that we would like you to go back to the drawing board with us so that we can see our relevance once again. I thank you very much.
Aspect of the budget, we have one that is recurring and one that is domestic capital. So the domestic capital aspect of the budget, where we have the MTF, is where normally the figures for their allowances, their rent, they are captured in terms of also the operational cost is captured under the recurrent. But when we want to do our monitoring and the rest, we use the one for the domestic capital. You know, we just come from all the districts across the country, and the good thing is the entire 16 districts have been fully restructured, and that's reverse cost. So that was where we got that cost from the domestic capital. But when it comes to the recurrent, it's for their allowances, their rent, operational costs. With regards to say, another question there was why the Ministry of Finance is overspending while the other ministries not having enough funds. Ministry of Finance, like somebody asked the question, supposed to ESA. In fact, Ministry of Finance budget is not only for the Ministry of Finance. And that is something which maybe if you guys here can advocate for us to stop, maybe, but I think you will not do that. Because when ESA, the electricity you are seeing now regularly, when the consultant came for ESA to start mobilizing revenue for themselves, that consultant was paid by the Ministry of Finance. So it's not like it's our cost, but it's borne by the Ministry of Finance. We pay on behalf of ESA. Not only that, there are institutions that are being paid for the budget of the Ministry of Finance. For example, this year, even this year, I was having an issue with processing of demurrage for the Ministry of Agriculture. You know, we processed about 1.4 billion for demurrage that the goods there have been held, and Bologna said they are not going to release it because of what? There is a demurrage on those goods. So we have to pay. And it was processed under the Ministry of Finance. In fact, the SDFS was there to investigate why the payment was delayed. because we are having issues. Why should we process it when agriculture also have their own budget? But it was processed there. We're having other issues. For example, there was a tax reform also for the Ministry of Energy, for CLSG, this West Africa Power Pool, Petro Capatomo, the company, Capatomo, tax reform. They said there should not be, based on their contract, the ministry was not supposed to tax their cost, that is their consultancy cost. But because the tax was taken, sent to NRA, when they want to fall back, they fall on the Ministry of Finance for us to pay. So we have to pay that again. That was over 6.6 billion. So you see, some of these costs that was, in fact, right now what we have now as a budget, you can see the ceiling for Ministry of Finance. Even if you take out subscription to international organizations from that, I think the ministry will not be left with 25 billion. From that 75. Because Ministry of Finance, like any other ministry, they must have their own ceiling. But we are constraining the ceiling. So when we give the true picture at the end, when we go for the budget retreat to finalize those figures, you see it's last, maybe that's 71. Maybe at the end it will not be given to the ministry. So we are all constrained. If you allow Ministry of Finance to have that 28.3 billion, when we come next year, you will not see overall. Because everything has been captured. But for now, when we go, they will say, no, this is not it. You have, this is not your ceiling. You should go down to the 71. Even that 71 there is also questionable.
Okay, for the purpose of TV and other, and radio, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. Yakama Manti-Jones. I'm Director of Research and Delivery in the Ministry of Finance.
I appeal that you be audible a little bit.
I am Dr. Yakama Manti-Jones. I'm Director of Research and Delivery in the Ministry of Finance.
Okay. So today you requested for 128 billion units, old units, or 128 million units in new units. Can you tell us for what purpose significantly?
Well, that's the request from the entire Ministry of Finance to implement our activities for the 2023 fiscal year across all 9 strategic objectives.
Okay. Now there are concerns because normally when there is election year, there will be various disruptions to, the activities of MDs, and the Ministry of Finance is no exception. The concerns raised are many. So how have you been able to prioritize your programs and activities for FY2023?
So like we explained, the Ministry of Finance has 9 strategic objectives, and those objectives guide our activities every year. And for 2023, we've also outlined the activities that we wish to implement. So the Ministry will implement those activities regardless of what the political landscape is.
Now, this process is regarded as a governance and accountability platform or mechanism by which citizens get to actively participate in the budget process. What I've observed in the various sessions I've witnessed is that MDAs, including Ministry of Finance, will not indicate, donor-funded projects, how much they are getting from outside resources.
So the budget we're requesting for is for the Ministry of Finance. Donor-funded projects are projects that are implemented by other ministries, but those allocations would be provided in the annual budget speech that will be presented to Parliament. So it will be best for you to wait when the statements of economic and financial policies are published and you look at the appendices, you will see the details of donor-funded projects.
Now let's go back to your 2021 expenditure. The actual budgetary allocation and what you expended, do not tie up. There is a variance of 47 billion old loans, and my concern is whether that expenditure is consistent with the Public Finance Management Act of 2016 and the Constitution, which requires parliamentary approval before expenditures from the CRF can be carried out.
So as you know, I'm Director of Research and Delivery. Processing of payments and allocations are done by the Budget Bureau and the Accountant General's Department. But as the Ministry of Finance, we are in compliance with the Public Financial Management Act, and that guides the allocation of resources. And not because that we went above budget, that meant those resources should not have been expended. They were expended to activities that needed to be funded, not only for Ministry of Finance, for other public financial management institutions and MDAs that are part of the governance framework, and also for subscriptions to international organizations.
So you don't consider that a violation of the Constitution?
That's not my role, and I cannot answer that question.
Well, viewers, una self don't listen, don't watch the budget hearing process where they go on at the Ministry of Finance. As today, the Ministry of Finance don't present their own money where they want for use inside the coming year 2023. And you don't listen what now some of the discussions and the questions and where other stakeholders don't ask the ministry. And as well, you don't hear from the Director of Research and Delivery na the ministry where now Dr. Yakema Jones, we don't tell we waiting na the money where the ministry they expect for get for run the operations for the year 2023, and also don't highlight what na the importance for this money also in use one for the year 2023. Well, me now Justice A.M. Tijan, I want to say plenty thank you to my executive producer Dr. Aisatu Kake Jalo, and also to my cameraman Mohammed Sky Bangura. So till we meet again, I want to say peace.